If you're going to tell me something like that, you're going to have to give me all the details. Just tell me to trust you. I don't know you. You saw what happened last season. I'm not trusting you. I barely know you. Just like I barely know him. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Love is Blind Season 6, Episodes 3 and 4. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. I forgot if it was Episodes 3 or 4, but opening up one of these episodes, there was one of these girls, I did not catch her name, but she was saying how she was bonded with one of the guys of how she pees in the shower. Both of them pee in the shower. And they both pee in the pool. And she thought that was cute to say on television. With cameras everywhere. And the craziest part is there were people standing there like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's fine to do it in the shower. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. AD was sitting there trying not to be judgmental. Ew. Like, she really felt comfortable to say that. Since I'm already talking about AD, let's go ahead and get Clay and AD out of the way. So he's on his side of the pods, breaking all the way down. People got to console him. He ain't felt this much emotion in so long. It seems like it's a build-up, and on top of that, he already said he had a huge ego, and his ego was very bruised to know that he was in competition with Matt, that Matt even had a chance with him in the room, child. And it's just like, you could just see the false bravado crumbling, because deep down inside, he's very insecure. You could just see that. And, you know, a lot of times people use those player ways as a way to keep their guard up and to protect their little precious feelings because they're so sensitive. I'm sorry, y'all dropped something. So when they finally did meet back up, he did apologize, as he should, because he was carrying on too bad, cussing and being loud and walking around the room acting a fool. Like, he was doing too much. And once again, she should have dropped him after that. But she didn't. He claims he was really hurt that he was in competition with Matt and possibly losing. Pretty much. This situation has made him dig deeper. I guess trying to make her feel bad about it or whatever. And she just had to throw back into his face like, but do you remember how you made me feel when you were focusing on looks and trying to say you weren't going to propose without seeing me first? He apologized, but he gave one of those apologies that say, well, if I'm wrong or if I hurt you, then I'm sorry. No, that is not a real apology. That's a cop-out. She basically told him that, you know, he needs to go to therapy and she would help him build his self-esteem. And it's like, girl, you can't do that for him. And even if you could, you shouldn't have to. So I think the next time they saw each other, I saw a Bible in his hand. But then I saw some liquor in a shot glass sitting there. And I'm like, y'all, these two do not mix. He read her Bible verse saying, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. If y'all know that verse. And said that God brought them together. And I don't really hope he's not using the Bible to manipulate, but that's kind of how it felt. I ain't gonna lie. He said he was just proposing on the spot. He didn't even mean to propose in that moment, but why was there liquor and shots there? Y'all were obviously gonna celebrate. He proposed, she said yes. So then they were gonna see each other for the first time. I'm not gonna lie, I was very nervous because he already brought up looks. Unfortunately, I know how some black men can be when it comes to dark-skinned black women, and I've seen them mistreated on shows like this before, and so I was very nervous that he was immediately not going to be attracted to her because of that. Not because she's not a beautiful woman, because she is. She's beautiful, she has a great body, a great personality, but there's some people that can't see past that because of colorism, and we just have to be honest about that. But when he did see her, he said that he was impressed. She had a beautiful face, a crazy body. Honestly, she was the one who threw me off, and she was like, oh, I didn't know you were dark skinned. And then he was like, yeah, we're gonna have beautiful dark babies. I don't know, y'all. It's something about him that's off. Like, he's saying the right things now. I still didn't forget what he said before, but in this moment, he's saying the right things. I just feel like he's up to something. I do. But he was kissing all on her, and they were touching. At one point, he was leaning on her, and she was holding him like a baby. He was like, yeah, he likes to be babied. I'm like, here we go. He looking for a mother. There was one point where she stood up and was kind of like showing off her butt and stuff. And I was just like, you said that you weren't going to try to sell yourself to him. while y'all were in the pods and, you know, tell him what you look like. But in this moment, it just kind of felt like you were trying to sell yourself. Like you were, but look, I got a big butt type of thing. And I'm just like, you don't have to do that. Like, you are more than enough. You're more than your butt. If he wasn't going to appreciate you without seeing that, he doesn't deserve you. And so, y'all, I don't know, y'all. I'm side on him, though. I don't like the way that he reacted in those pods. Major side eye. Let's move on to Amy and Johnny. So she says that she normally goes for ethnic men, but when they first saw each other, none of that matters because they ran smack dab into each other and was kissing each other the whole time, all over each other. I don't know if I've ever seen like this much immediate chemistry and comfortability. You would have thought they knew each other long before this. They really do have the most promising reaction, but y'all know how that goes on this show. You really can't go by that, but it was cute for the moment. So let's move on to Kenneth and Britney. Both of them know that they're of different races, but I guess they had the conversation. She asked him, you know, what ethnicity his family. He's like black. Her family's white, obviously. She said that she doesn't care what his race is. He's never dated a white woman before, so this is something brand new for him. Like I said on my last review, their biggest connection is by faith. She wants to wait until they're married before they consummate, and he's very supportive. He's all for it. Then at some point he proposes, and you know, they're very excited about that. I don't know, for some reason it kind of feels like he's going through the motions a little bit, like he's saying what he thinks he should say. I don't know, and I don't mean to question him because he hasn't done anything, but they really did seem happy to see each other. She was very attracted to him and he seemingly was attracted to her, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just like the way he was saying it. Oh, God is good. What did I do to deserve it? Just, he was doing the most with the least. Like, he was saying the most but had the least energy, if that makes sense. That could just be me. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below, but I don't know, some little something off with that. And she also seems like the type who would be like, oh, I don't see color. So I just wonder how this is gonna play out, y'all. I don't know, because race, if y'all do stay together, that is gonna play a huge role in your relationship. So next, let's move on to a love triangle: Laura, Sarah, and Jeremy. While he's talking with Laura, he opened up and told her that he lost his father when he was 19 and was really close with him. And, you know, he grew up with a big family with lots of tradition, and he really misses out on that the older he gets because they don't have as much of it. And she had told him that her and her family are pretty much estranged and they didn't really have, you know, traditions and things like that, but she does want to have that eventually. So that's something that they connected on. When he's talking to Sarah, it's much more vapid. Like, she's, you know, talking about taking selfies and will you take my picture if I ask you to, and she talks about her filler, and you know, he's kind of thrown off by the fact that she has a little bit of a following online, 4,000 followers. He thought 4,000 followers on Instagram was a lie. I didn't even think that was a lie. And 31K on TikTok. But she claims she doesn't take it seriously. They start talking about their political leanings. She said she's more conservative, which kind of threw me off because she doesn't come off that way. She comes off as very liberal, but she says she has liberal friends. She doesn't have a problem with it. That's just what she believes in. She doesn't believe in abortion, and he just feels like he shouldn't even have an opinion on it because he's a man, and I totally agree with that. I could have stood up and clapped on that. He also felt like he was getting so close with her that he would take, the next time he went home to Florida, he would take her to his grave, and that's not something that he normally does. He doesn't even normally tell people that he does that. So it felt like it was getting really deep between them. It just, I don't know, even though he did that, it just felt like their connection is more lust. They talk about a lot of physical things. I don't know, Laura and him, they seem to have more of an emotional thing, even though I kind of feel like Laura heard that he was getting closer with Sarah from Sarah talking about him in the pods, and the next thing you know, we see her coming in crying, and expressing all her feelings and emotions, and saying she had all these pros and cons, and the pros couldn't even fit on the list, child, and the cons was barely there. And he said that he's falling for her, but I don't know, that was a little manipulative to me, especially finding out something messy that she did later on. But yeah, that's them, child. We'll see how that goes. And finally, let's get to the love square: Jessica, Jimmy, Chelsea, and Trevor. So we see Jessica and Jimmy, they seem to have a really tight bond. They hit it off from the beginning. She went ahead and told him that she had a child, even though she waited a little while to tell him, but he accepts that or whatever, and they seem to have latched onto each other really quick. And she keeps going around telling all the women in the pods that he's her first round draft pick and she wants to be his. And she brought up the fact that she doesn't like when men ogle over women on social media. Like, you can look but don't lust, just only lust after me. And yeah, he doesn't have a problem with that. I don't know, something about her is a little disingenuous for me. I don't know what it is. Like, at some point while she was in the confessional, she was like doing all this, like she was doing all these TikTok mannerisms. If you're on TikTok a lot, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it just, I don't know, she was throwing me off with that, because how old are you doing all that? Maybe her daughter got her doing that. But then we see him meet up with Chelsea, and she immediately starts crying. Chelsea cried too much for me. She cried too much for me. She cries a lot. She came in there crying, and she told Jimmy that Jessica asked if she was also dating Jimmy, and she was really upset when she told her that, yes, I am. And it's like, okay, girl, you said you want him to exhaust all of his options because you want to be the first round draft pick overall, but you're mad that he's dating someone else, doing exactly what you wanted him to do. She's not as direct as she likes to think that she is. And then next thing you know, we see her talking with Trevor, and he tells her, look, you're the only one I want here. I've narrowed it down to you, and that's it. I'm just letting you know. And pretty much professed his love for her. And she kind of like over-explained, like, oh my God, I can't believe it, thank you. But she did not say it back. Then she started crying again because she's not used to men being nice to her and treating her with respect and professing their love and things like that. That's what she told the women. So Jessica, it's funny because while she was doing this, Jessica was creeping in the corner from afar listening in. The next time she saw Trevor, she gave him a bracelet saying, my heart is and always will be yours. And I feel like when you give somebody a gift like that, you're indirectly saying you want to be with them, or you want it to be exclusive, to me, because why would you tell him that? But he is a little doofy. He gave her a dog collar because his dog's name is also Chelsea, so he gave her a dog collar saying Chelsea. I would have been a little insulted. Next thing you know, we see Jessica and Jimmy, and she gave Jimmy a letter that she wrote to her future husband months ago. After he read the letter, he still was torn between whether he wanted to be with Chelsea or Jessica. And like I said, she keeps telling him, date all you want because I want to be the one that you choose, even after dating all these women. But then she gets an attitude when he's not fully committed to her on her time. Like, she was having an attitude, being snappy, gave him an ultimatum, let him know I'm not going to be here the whole time. And at this point, y'all, I really don't think he was being disrespectful. That's literally what this whole thing is about. I've seen men on this show play women and lead them on, but I just don't see how he was leading Jessica on. He was telling her every time they had a conversation what was going on, and you yourself said do that. And so now that you're ready to lock it down and you've given him this letter, now you're mad that he's not saying what you want him to say. And I ain't gonna lie, after hearing the reaction she had to Chelsea, clearly she feels like she is the prize of the two, or she deserves to be with Jimmy over her. It seems like it's a little bit of competition there, like unspoken competition on her end. He said basically he's used to more docile women and she's just much more direct. And I ain't gonna lie, it's coming off as a little bratty and bossy to me. But she told him, you will never have the opportunity to do this again. So then after this, he goes and meets with Chelsea, and at some point he tells her that he loves her. So I guess that's when he decided he wanted to be with Chelsea. She was completely shocked by this because she could have sworn that he was going to be dumping her in this meeting, but it was the exact opposite. She came back to the room. She didn't say anything. You know, she just quietly came in and she sat down and talked to Laura and whispered to her what he had said. And Laura is so messy. I feel like all of them are in the same room. Immediately ran to Jessica and told her she needed to leave. And she's like, what? Yeah, girl, I'm just trying to protect you. I want you to leave on your own accord. That man is not for you. He ain't doing you right. Just trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. And it's like, she wouldn't even say all the details. She being all mysterious and incognito. It's like, girl, if you're going to tell me something like that, you're going to have to give me all the details. You're going to have to, like, don't come over here telling me no BS and you ain't even gonna tell me everything. Just tell me to trust you. I don't know you. You saw what happened last season. I'm not trusting you. I barely know you. Just like I barely know him. Either way, she started sobbing and she said, I can't believe he did this to me. And once again, I'm like, what did he do? You knew it was a possibility that he could choose her. And the last time that y'all talked to each other, you told him to make a decision. He did. He didn't even have a chance to tell you because somebody else ran to you first. The way he told her that he didn't want to be with her anymore, that was kind of jacked up. Because he was like, you're an amazing mother and you're going to be an amazing wife to someone else. I was, dang, did you have to put it like that? She told him that he ruined this opportunity for her and he should be ashamed of himself for letting her feel that way, and she feels that he led her on because he knew that she was too much for him from the beginning. He claims that he didn't have his mind made up beforehand, that, you know, after he talked with Jessica that last time and then when he met up with Chelsea, it just clicked for him and that's when he made his decision. And I kind of believe that. He was just offended by the fact that she thought he had already made up his mind the day before and he didn't. She's like, I'm not going to coddle you in this situation. When you see what you missed out on, you're going to choke. And you're going to need an EpiPen to open up your airways. I was like, gagged because she is out of his league when it comes to looks. I ain't even going to lie. I just don't like how indirectly she was calling Chelsea ugly. I don't know. Was that just me? Like, it just felt like you're going to choose Chelsea, but when you see me, you're going to gag because she ain't got nothing on me. And I don't know. A part of me was like, you told him. But a part of me was like, I don't like the way that you were kind of trashing her in the process. It kind of confirmed for me that she kind of felt better than Chelsea. And like she deserved to leave with somebody over somebody that looked like Chelsea. That's what she was giving indirectly with that statement. Truth be told, it's for the best. Like I said in my last review, I wouldn't want to expose my child to a random man I just met. So now it's in Chelsea's court. She has to choose between Trevor and Jimmy. And we'll see who she chooses on the next couple episodes. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you in my next one. Peace.